What I would like to be able to do is take this same link.
Everybody's seeing as well that I am having my breakfast.
All right, I'm taking this same link.
Oh, so you're trying to do a hybrid? Okay. I don't know if you're frozen, but
No, I'm back.
there
Actually, I
you
was
go.
taking the link. I was taking the link to put it in the groups.
Okay. Nice. So someone else can join, and
I
I,
don't know if
I
they're going
I
to be able to
think
join, but they can at least see what we're talking about, and then they can make a contribution in the chat. And the first link that I put in the bodega, if they click it and they want to be like a guest, then I'll you back on. That's the best way I
okay.
can do it for right now.
All
But
right.
anyways, I have maybe I can give as much as 30 minutes. I've held my work back for the day enough.
Me too.
Summary of what we were discussing, and then we can choose one point and we can talk about it.
Well, it really started from a post that we shared in our group, which basically demonizes the content of the music now and actually blaming the violence, quote unquote. I'm paraphrasing what was there for
Go ahead.
the escalation in crime, and we were trying to find commonality in terms of what the cause of this is, and you had there was even a top five that we eventually saw in our convo, where politics, um, poverty, lack of opportunity. I think if I can recall off the top of my head, as some of the root causes. But I I don't know my experience as a teacher, as a social activist, being involved in youth coaching and all of that has made me understand that it's a whole web of contributing factors and it's not necessarily one. But it would make more sense if we take one of those factors and see how its effect is contributing. And I am sure, like we alluded to earlier on, we will see that one can be the cause or the effect, you know, because poverty can certainly cause single parent families to emerge, and single parent families can become the revolving door for poverty. So,
Right. So let's since poverty seemed to be one of the sticking points, let's do our best. Let's make our best effort to stay on poverty,
all
and
right,
let's see where we can grow from there or shrink from there.
and see how serious I am with poverty. I have a poor man's smoothie right here.
And it's such
Avocado.
a poor man's movie. I don't want to
There
get too
is,
off track, but how can you have
there
a
is.
poor man?
Sometimes we think that if we have to eat healthy as poor people, we need to buy expensive stuff like what you buy, Professor. You know, you have to go and get the high end.
Why is my plate? CMOS I was making my CMOS soak last night. It grew. I
Mm.
blended it this morning. I have my gel in my fridge.
Okay, great.
I
I have
protein.
avocado.
I right now, especially in January. January is what we call eat the house at my house. So it's what you have in your house. You have to make it. You have to make recipes with it. We ain't shopping for nothing that's not spoiling. Eat the house down. So this morning I found whatever grains, whatever thing. I made pancakes. Whatever kwas, farine, whatever I had to put in it. If it's half an egg I had, I don't know how you're gonna have half an egg, but if it's half an egg I had, I didn't have milk, so I used yogurt. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah.
Let me tell you, that's our recipe. I will be writing that and we publishing it. Somebody will pay for this.
For my editor. You are anything that comes to text, you are my editor.
Okay. So that's just
All right, see
oatmeal.
the chat.
That's just oatmeal, avocado, a little bit of almond milk, a little bit of sweetener, and a little piece of ginger. I put it in there. All of
Oh, you
these.
bougie already? From time you have almond milk, you bougie my G
Let me
because
tell you,
I don't have almond milk at
I
my
have a
house.
I bought the almond milk at the dollar store. Hmm.
Yeah, but the Canadian dollar store, not the US dollar, the St. Lucian dollar.
And it will last
But
me 2 weeks
we
because
digress.
I put in a little bit. It will last me 2 weeks. I just put in a little bit and I added water to long heat.
Shelf stable. Well,
Okay,
happy New
so
Year
let's
to everyone. Shout out to
poverty.
Sika. Shout out to Kim. Stick around as long as you can, guys. Please share the link. The conversation will be based on something that started in the digital bodega. And after about 60 voice notes, I know some people in the bodega waking up to 5,000 messages. I said it's too important to just live in a place that, to live in a silo. I think we can have these discussions, share it with other people so at least the opinion can be there. Are we talking about OnlyFans today? Probably not,
No.
but hopefully the message will resonate on the same level. So, poverty. Let's
Okay,
go.
poverty, I think too. The meaning can change with context because it can be a physical thing where you're lacking material, and it can also be a poverty of the mind because there may very well be opportunities around you and ways that you can bring in the material stuff. But because you're so poor in your thinking, emotional and whatnot, then you can't bring the material things to exist in your spaces to sustain you. So poverty is definitely a major contributing factor to crime because poverty brings in other mitigating or deleterious elements. For
Okay,
example,
let's stop. And I want to say this. I went to the definition of the word poverty. The state of being poor, the lack of means of providing material needs or comforts. The state of being poor, the lack of means of providing material needs or comforts. So let's stay right there. Or a
or comfort.
deficiency, or yeah, or comforts. And secondly, it says a deficiency in amount, semicolon, scantiness. I didn't even know that was a word. And the third one is unproductiveness, infertility. For example, the poverty of the soil. And I think that touched me a lot, the poverty of the soil. So, poverty can be defined as many things, and it can be used as a catalyst to go in many directions. And it
Yes.
also creates other factors that will affect people because when you spoke on it, you said poor mindsets. So it is as if you're sitting there because you have a rich mindset, your fridge is poor, but you're finding the things in the fridge to make the nutrients.
There you go. I found this is very rich in protein, plant-based protein, right? This I can recommend this as the cure for a disease. And it is cheap, it is, I mean, affordable stuff. So just so to echo what you're saying, it's the mindset, the rich
Mm.
mindset that we need. And when I say rich, I'm not saying you have to be envious and become all blind and will do anything that is possible, including degrading yourself and others. That is not
But
that's not what we're saying, right?
but that's
That's
your
not what we're saying.
choice.
Pardon?
But that's your choice.
Definitely, it's a choice, but that's not the narrative that I am. That we're. I don't
The reason
think
why
that's
I
the
want to
narrative
put
we're
it as
pushing.
a choice, and the reason why I want to put it as a choice is because there's always two sides to a coin. And if you're a physicist, you might even say the side of the coin is another side. So maybe three sides. And I would say to
Infinite, actually, because the curve that never ends, so it's infinite.
that
As
that is the infinite, that's the infinite side, right?
I
So the
am, I'm a
cycle.
physicist.
So I'm saying, like, okay, you be poor, you still hitting a fork in the road or a crossroads where you're like, I can go this direction of my poverty, or I can go that direction of my poverty. And I
Yes,
feel like
choice.
the mindset is what makes that determination. Now, the conversation started on music and how the music should be banned because the music is creating violence.
Yeah.
Do people really understand the power of music? One, without
No.
even getting
No.
to lyrics, do people even understand the power of music?
Of
What
sound.
about
If
music?
we say sound,
Yeah, sound. Yeah, I
would be
don't want
more
to go
information.
down into sound because if we go into sound and we talk about vibrations and we talk about frequencies and all that stuff, the people that understand that, we cannot disregard that if they know, let's just go back to war times, Native Americans or even other tribes that were using drums to communicate and smoke to communicate, we have to appreciate and respect the fact that when them boys start beating the drum fast and the heart rate start going fast, it might make the soldiers act and behave a different way. So music has power. Words have power.
Yeah.
Biggie have a song called Suicidal Thoughts. I pray to God, I wish my mama had an effing abortion. So when this guy's album was called Ready to Die, and then he dies, your first album, the first message that you're sending out to the world, you're saying ready to die. And then you die. When you're speaking on murder and you die, when you're speaking on gangsterism and you die, I'm not saying that's why you die, but I'm also saying, but there might be a connection.
Don't speak about it and they die.
The what?
There are people, they die. There are people who don't sing or speak about murder and they die.
Exactly. But
So
the reason
it's
I
not an
went to that
anomaly.
point, the reason I went to that point was to say that it kind of does have an influence because, like, the environment that you're in is going to affect the way that you flow. And I think no matter how powerful you are, you need guidance. Everybody needs guidance.
We agree on that, Dupes, that the music is one of the influencing factors. It's not the only determining factor. And
No.
I dare say you remove all of the music that we consider to be negative. And here is another word that we're going to have disputes over. What is negative? But then that's a whole other argument. But you take out the individuals who are saying ban the music, give them the magic wand or the power to censor, to remove. And let's see if the society is going to have a dramatic turnaround. Before we were exposed in a few years prior to now, we still had people engage in violent behavior. Probably it was not resulting in death, okay? But we still had people having disagreements, people having fights, individuals shedding each other's blood. I think too that it appears more amplified because the rate of reporting and the access to the crime is a lot faster than it used to be. Now, you and I can be reporters. Something happens, we pull up our device, and immediately we let the world see that this has happened. But before, you would have had to have been home with your a radio that can get a signal or that had batteries to get the news. So something may have happened and you are getting the news days later because you were confined, you were restricted in access. But now, if you hear a sound behind you right now, you may very well get a video in seconds
Mm-hmm.
that you can connect with the event. So I think too with the availability of information, it has also made it look like there is an escalation in violence.
So would you
Is
say
that
that would you say that there's a poverty of information or richness of information? Okay, so you see, but yet still people will tell you, even in the chat, they say education is not free. People have to pay to go to school. People have to do this. People have to do that. The richness of information and the richness of distractions is actually overwhelming and it's becoming its own epidemic on our society.
precisely? And the richness of the rhetoric, the oh, I'm gonna do this to you and don't come by me, and the hand signs and every single photograph, including myself. I do not carry the signs that the to identify me for group. But as an artist who's relevant, your pose has to have a certain societal connection to it. So
But
if
look,
you're
I'm
going to
wearing
pose
red
for a
today.
picture,
Wearing red. There's certain
pardon?
places you. I'm wearing red today. There's certain places you cannot go and just be wearing red. That's gangs.
And
Red and blue.
you went red and yellow, I bet you that
That's orange.
somebody back home who will see. Well, I don't know color, but somebody who somebody back home who sees you these two colors is gonna cut off your head to get rid of
Hmm.
one of the colors, either red or yellow. So
And I cannot pick
gonna,
one either. I need both to exist.
it's poverty. So whilst we have, and I did say that there are students that I know who are on welfare, so they are poor. The
Hmm.
through some means, everything is being provided for them. Transportation ticket to school, uniforms, even the nutriment, what they eat, their
Hmm.
special programs, um,
Yeah.
and their cell phone costs more than yours.
Yeah. You mentioned that. Why do you think that is?
Now, as to again, it's the mindset. They are poor. They may not have gotten the cell phone through their own means. Um, I, I never asked them how they got the phone. It's not my business. But
Okay.
it's just ironic how an individual who you need to carry him through what we consider regular life, go the extra distance for him, and he has a device that you are not able to purchase. And I'm putting able in
I
quotations.
understand. But by whatever means that you've chosen or you're unable to participate in that life.
And someone said they may have stolen it. Someone they may have done something illegal or legal. It could have been given for free. It could have been done for services for kind. I don't know. But it is not their responsibility to provide the things that they are getting, the uniforms, and I mean that's a dependent. So it is not a problem that they're being supported, but it's just very ironic, and it throws the narrative into a cacophony when you look at your phone. You have four cameras and voice ID and all kinds of things. And what my students used to call my phone a shovel. My students used to call my phone a shovel, a pell. And I would literally, when I put it down around the school, they would bring it for me. So we're not going to take, no one is going to steal that because, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
We don't want to stray too far. I
we
do
want
want to make a
property.
I do want
Yeah.
to make a comment about that device that you're talking about. That device that they now have can change their whole life.
Of course.
There are people that's taking their cell phone, putting their one camera on, because your front camera, I'm assuming, is one camera. They put it on, they do a dance, they sing a song, they make a hot take, and next thing you know, they're viral and somebody's beating down their door to make them do some create content. And also they can also decide they want to do comfort services. They can also decide, hey, I want to be a scammer. I'm going to use this phone to teach me There's somebody in the bodega that said once he got his phone and he started using artificial intelligence, he was able to remove himself from homelessness.
Okay.
So he was
Someone rang my phone, so the audio has your audio has uh, I'm not able to hear you.
you hear me now?
Not yet. Let me.
So how you know you're not hearing me?
I wonder if I should reconnect.
Yeah, remove. I'm gonna remove you and you come back. Do, 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 do.
Much better. We're back. Yes, I'm back. You sure that's not a
Okay, so
yellow? That's not a yellow, Tom?
that orange gas. You must
Okay.
you still be on your Android phone. That's why.
Yeah, the man still knocking my Android.
So all I was, I'm on my Android right now having this live. So trust me, like when people say, "Yo, why you have two phones?" I just tell them, "So why don't you have two phones?" Because if you can think about what one phone can do for you, imagine when you have two, and you have one of a different creed, so you have access to all the possibilities. So I was
And
simply saying,
so we understand why. Okay, continue.
I'm simply saying, those folks that have those phones, do they even realize all of the possibilities that they have access to now that they have a phone? The question is, what are they choosing to do with it?
And again, we by nature we are followers. So in your community as a youth who's poor, what you see is everybody socializing. They're
Mm-hmm.
taking pics and selfies. They're doing TikToks and
Mm-hmm.
they're on IG looking at trends and doing hashtags. That is what you see. So you become what you see. You begin to manifest what surrounds you. And is it bad for them? Well, they don't spend time with you and I. We sit in studios and or we sit somewhere composing art. They're
But that's
not
their
with you.
choice.
Yeah, but sometimes
Or it's
Dukes,
not their choice. I just want to know your opinion.
it's also my choice too. Because I have put myself in an environment that I can create. So I have removed myself from them. Um, it
Okay.
may be it may be deliberate or it may be very inadvertent. But the fact is, they're not with me. They're with six, seven other youths like themselves, engaged in the same and feeding from the same stuff that they're into. So the choice, it's almost it becomes imposed, and you don't even know that you have chosen it. Because it's what you see. He's walking around like a crazy guy, smiling at all the neighbors.
No, man, I was doing my service to my community. Somebody came to pick up some CMOS.
Oh, there you go.
Conducting business using my phone.
I'm going to. Oh, by the way, I'm working on my a promo video for for the song that we're planning to do the video for.
Okay, cool.
Right. So I'll send that to you before I post it. So
So
you
you're doing a promo video for a music video you haven't even shot yet?
yeah, I'm promoting the song, not the music video.
Got
I'm
got
doing
you.
a promo for the song. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had to. I had to do.
People just they just use the word blatantly and they say poverty, and you hear it in all spheres, all discussions. You hear it by the youth, you hear it by the adults. But I think it's more, and let's look at poverty in its real sense.
Yeah, we've
Like,
defined it. We moved away from it for a little bit. We had our technical issues. Let's try to spend the next 10, no more than 10 to 15 minutes, because we both have work to do,
yeah,
just offering up solutions, at least to the points that we were speaking on. So the floor is yours.
starting with the phone, the unlimited access to information, training, education that can change your poverty into wealth. It's right there. But someone has to take you through it because remember, you're young and impressionable, or you don't know it's there, or you see it, but it doesn't make sense. So it's a factor that needs to be put into an education process. Not everyone has the discipline to intrinsically acquire information or learn things. Sometimes that's why we have schools. That's why we have workshops. Individuals, their learning style, they may not be innately disposed to sitting and learning by themselves, you know? So
But I'm not in
right
charge.
there,
I can't I can't control how people, like, you're a teacher, so the perspective is definitely going to be different. And you have your own issues with the education system, at least the education system in where you're from. Whilst we're on
yeah.
this call, I get an email from one of my teachers, from one of my son's teachers, telling, and if he was set and ready for whatever the school was to prepare him for, he wouldn't go to school. So whilst I'm a little frustrated with the message, I understand and I appreciate.
Yeah.
And he's always taught that it's his education is his responsibility, not the school's own. Today I drop him off at school. I say, but to me, where's your saxophone? Because, like, don't you do music at school? He's
Your
like, I
son
forgot it
plays
at home.
sax?
Yeah. So I'm like, wait, you
Hey,
forgot it at home. So how do you expect to participate in the music at school if your instrument isn't there? So, okay, we have these conversations about single parents. We have these conversations about poverty. We have these conversations about community. But whose responsibility is it ultimately?
and they're individuals who are disciplined enough to accept the responsibility. And some individuals, just as people have needs, they are not psychologically strong enough to stay. They do not have that ability. And you have to put them in that environment, or you have to be there for them and with them. So it's something we say as teachers: when will the child become responsible? They are students who are responsible. They will not need the extra. And there are others who just do not have it.
Do you think that the factor is that they have a dad? Do you think the factor is that they have financial resources? Do you think any of those are like major determining factors, or there are people like that from all walks of life?
And there are individuals with a dad with all the resources, and they still do not have the discipline. And there are those
Thank,
who have none of the resources, and they are disciplined.
thank you.
So
So then it comes down to that, which in my opinion or books I've read and so on have something to do with like grit, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Yes, your environment is part of your success, but it's how you choose to perceive that environment and work within it.
and as educators and leaders, and those who want to help, need to also think that way, that we will encounter individuals who are different, and therefore it's going to help us fashion how we approach. We may not be able
That's
to
my biggest
approach
challenge is,
all.
and I don't know if I verbalized that to you recently, where it's like I think I spend a lot of time learning things and expecting that as soon as I learn it, everybody else learns it. Or
Precisely.
I'm being very like serious about it. Like we're like, okay, just because I know 2 plus 2 is 4, I just expect as if my nephew that's 3 years old to know it too. But the difference is that yeah, he has access to the information, but he may be need to see it visually, or he may need to hear it. Like somebody like me, I think I learned the most from listening. It sticks with me more from visualizing. So like I'm the type of person that will listen to an audiobook whilst I'm reading it. But
Yeah.
if I really want it to stick, when I write, I will listen to an audiobook and write the book. Even if I'm scribbling, I'll write the book verbatim, or the audio or the interview verbatim, and that stays with me forever. For me to remember somebody's name, I have to say it 3 times to them, and they're annoyed. But that is my obsessive compulsive disorder that works for
And
me.
and I say it 3 times and I still don't remember. You know what I remember? They can hide, they can disguise their voice as much as they want. I'll never forget that that's the person.
You see
So
that? Eh?
I will say, I know that person because the tone. the voice
Yeah, and
registers
I
in you.
think that to make an example of or strengthen the point of what you're saying about people being different. And I have to keep reminding myself that, yo, not because we have the same blood or we grew up the same place or we went to the same school, that everything is the same. Because if that was the case, then all of us would just be the robots that the powers that be expect us to be.
Yeah. So one of the things that I had to say to myself is, as you teach, you have to learn. That is how your teaching will be relevant and effective. You can't expect everyone who walks into your session to learn the same way or to learn the way you have designed it. You have to
Mhm.
it's a dynamic environment where both or all stakeholders are supplying. You know, the student is supplying where they're giving me hints on how they are receiving the information, if I am getting to them, and what I need to do on the fly or come back with a different plan to ensure that they get it. Because what we want, the ultimate goal is that that information or that change in attitude happens, or in behavior or cognition happens. That's the child wants that, that's why they're coming. And the instructor wants that, that's why you're providing.
Hmm.
And you have to learn. I had to learn and say to myself, listen, learning is not even what happens in the classroom, it's what the child does, the behavior that it brings about when they leave my presence. Because they can be there listening, and when they leave, whatever that I have imparted did not stay and has not made a change happen in the cognition or in the emotions, that they can now go and impact the world that they're in. That is
Okay.
learning, you know.
Yeah.
So
And look,
so we
and you
we are actual learners. Teachers
hmm
are learners, and we need to understand that this is a very effective, a very important part of success in a classroom,
so
you
to
know.
surmise what you're saying, for you to be an effective teacher, you must be open to learn from your student so you could teach them even better, because now that you're observing what lights a fire in them, you can use that to teach them. But you're sitting in front of 30 kids. Like, how can you process that information? How can you? And I guess that's the issue with education. Like, you literally have to synthesize it, because every kid, if education is a multivitamin, if the schools, if education are the vitamins and the nutrients for the brain, and the school system is trying to accommodate everyone. They just make a multivitamin, but some kids might need more vitamin B, one might need more vitamin E, another one might need some iron, and
That's easy.
that's why I always
That's
tell my
easy.
son, like, school is like the foundation, bro. School is just like paying attention, following a schedule, socializing with others. But education is when you come home and dad is like, nah, you're reading this book this week and you're giving me a report, and come learn how to cook. Come learn how to scramble eggs, burn the pancakes. So the next time you make it, you know what you did. Come and bake a cake. Come and do it. Like, that's me. But again, I'm blessed.
Is it
I
working
came,
for you?
yeah, it's
Is it
working for
effective?
me. Oh no,
Okay.
most definitely. I know this is somebody I can call and I can tell him, yo, XYZ, way to CMOS. Put that, like I yesterday we were making a soup. Yo, put that thing on simmer. I don't have to explain to him what a simmer is. You understand? Use this. So for me, I'm fortunate, but you see, I only have one. You teaching a multitude. You they like Jesus with the bread and the
But
fish.
but 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 what I'm saying to you is, it's easy. You see, I need to understand that I am not the culmination of the child's knowledge. I am there
Mm.
to stimulate it.
You're the
So
conduit.
I write. And if that person needs more vitamins, they would have probably been in a position to get it themselves, or they will come to me for more.
How does
You
that
see,
solve the problem of violence as it relates to poverty?
you see, if
Because
if if
because
you
I just came to my mind there, and I wanted to cut you short because it just came to my mind. There's a lot of educated people that end up doing violent things too.
right, And let me tell you that that's just another type of education. They're street smart. Some of
Mm-hmm.
them. You and I may not survive in some of those environments these people live in. They have education about that environment that you and I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And so you become stimulated. Then you can now decide, okay, this is what I want. Your choices become more informed because you will get the information that will color or affect the choices and the values, right? When you do that, then you put yourself chosen down moping and say, I'm a victim of my circumstances. No, you would have been in a position that, in spite of what came your way, you would have made certain decisions. And you can say, okay, I took that decision, but it was not the right one, or I took that decision and it was a good one. So you can assess
I
your
say
choices.
on. I always tell people keep pressing on. There's no such thing as a right or a wrong decision. It's what you make as a result of that decision. Is everything is about pivoting. I don't under. It's hard for me again. Me not understanding that everything is a pivot. It's just a pivot, bro. If you open your fridge, you say, "Boy, I want to make a smoothie." You go open your fridge and be like, damn, I ain't got no almond milk. I ain't making no smoothie. You know, there are people like that, right? There are people that like, if their smoothie is based on almond milk, when they open the fridge and they get the almond milk, they forget that is the liquid that making it smooth, and they could just make water. They could just take
Water,
something, soloma, arrowroot, something. But
juice.
nah, they like, oh my god, I'm poor.
Yeah,
I can't make
yeah,
it. What am I gonna like me? Yo, I never put an avocado in a smoothie until you tell me put avocado in a smoothie. That is my sin. You understand what I'm
and how
saying?
did it taste? Did you
This
try
it
it?
you taste it because avocado don't even really have like much taste. But they tell
Exactly.
you, you talk to a man like Radical One, he go tell you, boy, avocado is nature's butter, is the butter of the gods. But I'll never take a stick of butter and put it in a smoothie. No day. But I'll put the
Somebody do
avocado.
it.
But
My
there are people that making smoothies with plantain, pumpkin, sweet potato. You understand?
yeah,
And like
I
Kim,
listen,
they
I
have
put
to
all of that in my smoothie.
yeah. Kim
I
says
put
they
all that in.
in the comments, they have to substitute. And that is the thing. That is it is the pivoting, it is the perspective, it is the there's not one way to eat a rat. You understand? To reference and and like but we also have something that people suffer from, and we only have a few minutes left, which is too many options.
Pivoting.
Mm-hmm.
That you gave us a solution. Take an option and
And
decide
be
if you're going to
good.
continue that.
Mm-hmm.
Take one. You may not even have the information to be able to discriminate. Take one. And if it's not where you want to go, you may not have caused enough damage that prevents you from switching. So
Kim
if
just
you
made
do that,
my day. Look in the chat. She says, "Do like me. I didn't have potatoes to make roti, so I use green fig. Because potatoes, I have been arguing for years. Irish potato do have no place in Caribbean roti. Because just as a business person, I say, but to import Irish potato doesn't even grow in St. Lucia. So if you don't want to pay $20 for a roti, take Irish
by the way,
potato out
they
of it.
grow it. They grow it
And
in
they,
St.
yeah,
Lucia now.
what I'm trying
There's
to
a
say
little red
is
one.
you don't have no home there, bruv. When you have certain things falling off the tree, put a guape, put something in it. Because roti is not potato. Roti is the thing you wrapping the thing in, and mindsets, pivoting,
Yeah,
pressing on.
I agree. And that is the renaissance in thinking that we need. We we are poor in our minds. That's where we are poor. It
But
does
we
not
scared.
matter how bad
I think
the
we're scared.
situation is. You can move from it.
I
Pardon?
think we're I think we're scared. I think we don't want to take the chance. Be for fear that that next move will be our last.
So what? So but it you may sit there and that could be your last breath withdrawing, right? Because you didn't take a decision. Not
Amen.
moving can also be the cause
Is
of
a
your last breath.
decision is a decision, you know. Indecision. It have the word decision in it.
Yes.
Undecided has the word decide in it.
Yes.
We are songwriters, so we know the power of words, and people can't play with us when it comes to words. We are the words that people to argue with because that's all we spend. Always, we are wizards, alchemists of words. So don't come and play no word with me. Procrastinate. Somebody explain the word procrastinate to me. It means you are professional in crastinating, you know. The word crastinate means tearing yourself apart, destroying things, you know.
I didn't even know that.
Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do something like that, brother? And you are professional in that? Once that person broke that down for me, I was done with that word. There are certain words I
You,
don't even like to say. I just feel bad to say them.
you know they have redefined procrastination as a sign of intelligence. There's a if I when I get the link, I share it with you. I saw that
Mm.
last year. They're actually saying it's not a negative trait because some people will only be successful because of the pressure they build from procrastination.
Well, but then that is not appreciating the mindsets of people that work well under pressure. I do not praise
It's
it. It's not my personality. I work well under pressure. I work well under pressure. I work very well under pressure. But you see that feeling I get after working well under pressure? I don't like it.
because you're not there. There's no joy or enjoying what you're doing because the pressure takes away everything. You know,
Thank you.
it's better to work where you have elbow space.
Thank you.
But
And I
we are
these conversations, fortunately, these conversations, as you said, Kim, no risk, no reward. These conversations, they don't have really have an ending or a solution because as soon as we solve one thing, we move on to something else.
that is
Um,
why I said they are interwoven. You can't look at them in isolation. We try for so people
mhm.
can understand what we're doing, but you really can't do it in isolation. Um, we can cure our own poverty. We can, and it has to start with deciding. Someone can come and save you. You can have the Mother Teresa characters who will bless them. Thanks. And if they are there, we're happy they're there. But where they do
Mhm.
not exist, you can't stay and die.
But that's exactly. You said it in the chat the other day, and I was so proud to hear you say it. You said, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you, bro. You are responsible for everything that's happening to you. Because, like I like to say, God made man in his own image. And if you want to believe that, that means you're a God, bro. That means when you want to say, let there be light, you click and look at light. Let there be light. Boom, it's brighter. You decide. And then when he took us and he cast us out of the garden because we look at it like a punishment. And I'm being very like, I don't know. They call it wonky or wavy or woo woo. They call it woo woo. When he cast us out of the garden, he cast us out of the garden because we ate from the tree of knowledge. So he's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're ready. You all want to know what it's like to be me. Okay. So you all went and you all ate from the tree. You all have the knowledge. Go and do what you all have to do.
And then he
Because
said,
those
subdue the earth and possess it.
because
He
those that
said,
know better,
subdue it.
they do
Yeah.
better. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now I was growing plants for you. All the fruits you wanted to eat. All the animals was your servant, doing whatever y'all want. Cows was coming and giving y'all milk. Y'all didn't even have to milk it. That's how nice the Garden of Eden was. Trees was just bearing fruit. But now y'all know how to grow. Y'all know how to rear. Y'all know how to do. Go and mass. What you said about the earth?
Subdue it and possess it.
With the knowledge, because with your godly knowledge.
Yeah.
Be fruitful, multiply, my G.
And we don't necessarily mean make kids.
I was waiting for you to say it because, like we say, we are the same coin. Because it doesn't necessarily mean to make kids be fruitful and multiply the knowledge, multiply the riches in the earth. You realize there was a time, and yeah, they still have it. But I feel like there was a time they had a lot more kings and queens than they have now.
Yeah.
And that's
And
why that N word, I don't like to use it. That's why I like to call you my king, my queen, because words matter. You understand what I'm saying? Words matter. I'm not
they
raising
do.
a prince. I'm not raising a prince. I'm raising a king because a prince becomes a king. Because at one and he may become a king when I die, or he may become a king that can rule by my side or rule his own kingdom. The Bible also says live and cleave.
Yeah. And you already subliminally conditioning him to be in leadership because you're saying king, you know?
King. That's a response. That's not a joke, word. Princes and king is two different set of people.
Yeah. A prince is somebody's son.
It's
A
two different
prince,
now.
somebody's son. A king is the father of a nation, but a prince is the son of a king.
Mhm.
So he's still second. He's never first or
And not
third
and
because his mother is there.
not all princes, not all princes become kings.
No, but a king is always a king.
Amen.
You cannot be the king.
Stop digging around. Anyways, my brother, I think I'm gonna go find an avocado and make a smoothie.
Yeah, man. Put if you have do you have ginger?
Always. That's a staple in my house.
Okay, well put a little bit of ginger in it. Ginger is very, very healthy and it a nice little flavor. All right, so try that. And let me know.
All right. I don't know if you can hear
How
me.
do you use
I
honey
know
or
your line is.
sugar? All right, so peace, love, and we'll talk again. Somebody's trying to call me, so
Yes, sir, my bro. We'll talk later. Thank you.